All right, we're going live. It's Flirty Friday, Friday night. It's the weekend. If you're on the West Coast, it's 4 o'clock and it's fast approaching as far as the weekend goes. So we're here starting this each Friday. We're going to be here on Flirty Friday and answering questions, helping you get inspiration, love, information, and inspiration for the weekend. Anyone want to join in, say hello, and let's see. I'm watching for comments at the same time as going live. This is interesting. It's not working again. So here we are. If we're just here to talk, to answer questions, to give you inspiration. Are you getting out there on your live dates? Are you going on live dates? Are you going online? Are you getting out there? Remember, you just got to get yourself out there. Get yourself out there. Ooh, it's a little hot today on the East Coast. So, do you have any questions? We are here for you on Friday Night Live. And put your questions in the comments and I'll be able to see them. Also, if you're interested and you're shy or not shy, you're welcome to go to my website. It's down below. Have a complimentary discovery call if you're wanting to transform your love life. And this is something new. I'm open to ideas and suggestions for how to help you have a better love life. We are providing you with questions and answers. And we're talking about getting out there for Flirty Friday. It's Friday evening. Are you getting out there or are you sitting at home? What are you doing with your love story? Are you participating in your own love story? I'm watching for the comments. We're going live on Facebook and YouTube. And I see some people have joined us. So have you been getting out there? Where are you in your love journey? Think to yourself about your relationship status. Is that status what you want? There's a question that just came in. Me first. Thank you. Let's see. The comment is, I have a friend who is reserved and doesn't know how to open up enough to start meeting people and welcome them into their life. Okay, great. Well, one of the things we want to do is to remember to be open and available, to remember to have confidence and smile and look people in the eyes, and do what I call the feminine flirting. Feminine flirting is not so much active pursuing, going after. It's more about an inner confidence and knowing your value and showing up and being open. Now, one of the things, if we're reserved, it's okay to be reserved, of course, and to look people in the eyes and be available and to be open if they come forward to you to have a conversation. One of the things that may pause us or cause us to not want to do that is not feeling confident in how to say no. If we don't know how to say no, then we're not really wanting to get out. We're not wanting to interact with others. And it may come across as reserved. And one of the things to do is to practice saying no, maybe with a friend. If a friend approaches you and you practice and they start saying, hey, how are you today? If you're not comfortable interacting, say, oh, do a stroke. I appreciate you having a conversation. I'm not available to have a conversation. I'm not available to continue this conversation, or just hello, thank you for saying hello, and keep walking is one way. But to practice that saying no so you can get out and feel confident being out there might be part of the feeling of reserved. Or to go somewhere where you're comfortable, or have your friend go somewhere where they're comfortable, so they are feeling more naturally happy and more naturally confident, more naturally comfortable. And they can go out with a friend that sits across the room and they pretend that they're not in the same, that they don't know each other. So they feel safer going out. So I guess what I would want to know more of is what reserved is in this context. How does reserved show up in their behavior and in what they're wanting to do and not wanting to do? Does that have to do with being approached? Does that have to do with holding conversation? Okay, so who else there's a couple of people watching live. Welcome. It's Friday, Flirty Friday. We're answering questions, and Hannah asked a great question about how to open up enough to start meeting people. So another thing I would tell people is to go places that they are happy, maybe get involved in groups if they like nature, maybe the Sierra Club or a surfing club or something that's group oriented might help one get out and start meeting people. It's a little bit different today, especially post-COVID. There's not a lot of places to go on our own to meet people. We want to integrate our life into meeting people. As we go about life, we want to pay attention and open up our bodies to be open and available and to look people in the eyes, because you'll be surprised how many people we do actually meet along the day, and to find those interests and hobbies. And even if it's online, to find groups that you're interested in. One of the key things is consistency and proximity. If we keep showing up to certain groups that we're interested in, we will naturally get to know people more and be more confident and comfortable in the situation. And for Flirty Friday, that's a very good question, because we want to be flirting, we want to be mindful of flirting. And flirting for the feminine is being in our present moment and shining from the inside. It's being in love with ourselves and sharing it with the world, and being open and available for interaction and being responsive. The masculine flirting goes after, pursues, looks for what they want. So we don't want to do that if we're showing up from our feminine. We want to relax more into who we are and be open and available to each moment. And Flirty Friday is a good time to get yourself out there to practice. And that's another thing we want to do. We want to see it as a practice, like yoga, and just getting out there, not coming from perfection and not being in the results, not trying to be in the results, not to get out there and come back home and say, oh, I didn't meet anybody. It's to get out there and do your part of showing up. And if they find you, they find you. And that's another thing as dating and mating from the feminine, is your job is to get out there to be found. If you don't get out of your house to be found, it's very hard to be found, unless it's by somebody that's coming by to work on your house somehow, or to drop off the mail, or the Amazon guy. So you want to get outside and get out into the world to be found. And if you haven't been found yet, and you don't have a person in your life, your person, someone that you're in a relationship with, then look for different scenarios to be found, like we were talking about before. Maybe you want to walk along the beach at sunset, go to outdoor venues, go to live music. This is a great time of year to be going to. Oh, there's another question. It's a great time of year to be getting out and looking at the local papers for events that are happening, like live music, jazz festivals, fairs. Matt asked, I don't know where to go to meet people. Where do people go? We were just about to start talking about that. That's a great question, Matt. So when we're getting out, there's places to go in the papers. Keep an eye out on the papers as to what's happening locally as far as fairs and big church tag sales, one going on here where I live, and street fairs and block parties. And also ask your friends where they like to go. Would they be comfortable with you coming along with them? There's wine tasting and hiking And you want to think outside the box of what you've been doing. So what you've been doing is a good way to start and look around and be more perceptive and open to what's around you, but also to think outside the box for what's happening locally, and also to look at those organizations that, or it might be maybe some fundraisers, some nonprofits you can go and maybe volunteer at, and think of what is it that you have interest in. And maybe there's interest from when you were younger, like drawing or pottery or nature or surfing or skateboarding. I have a client that took up skateboarding and she was in her late 30s. And so think of those things that maybe you wanted to do at some point in your life and you haven't done them yet and you still want to explore that. And that's a lot of different ways to get out there to meet people. Some people just think of the dreaded singles bar from back in the day or single parties. So there's other things to do other than that. And here's another question. Let's see. Maya Ryan. Okay, Maya. I don't know. I know I should be going out, but I'm a homebody. What do I do about that? That's a very good question if you're a homebody. One of the things you want to ask yourself is, am I truly a homebody, or am I staying home because I just don't want to get out there because I'm bonded to somebody that's an ex, that I'm somebody that I was in a relationship with? If that's the case, we could be bonded chemically and just not feel like going out there because we're actually bonded to somebody else. So that's one thing to ask is, what's the reason I'm a homebody these days? Then you want to think of what's the highest price tag. What's the highest price tag if you stay at home? As I was saying before, if you're just staying at home, it's very difficult to be found. And if you're in your feminine, dating from your feminine, your job is to get out there to be found. And therefore, what's the highest price tag if you do stay at home? So if you are a homebody, how can you make it more fun? Ask yourself, how can I make this more fun? Maybe make it like a game to get out, maybe 5 minutes a day. Start with 5 minutes a day going somewhere that you are enjoying. Maybe you'll sit and have tea at the local coffee shop. And if you are going out and sitting at a local coffee shop or along the beach and you have a book, you want to make sure you're not buried in the book or buried in your phone or just looking down at your phone, because you want to be available and open for someone to approach. So you can glance down at your book, but be sure to look around and to participate in what's around you. So when you're a homebody, those are a couple of things to think about. I can relate to being a homebody, and actually I think the last few years has kicked up the homebody in all of us. We've all been settling for, thank you for the thumbs up. And welcome if you're just joining us. This is Flirty Friday. We're doing this each week to answer questions about dating and relating and to give you energy for the weekend. So you're welcome to put your questions in the comments. I have a dog in here that's distracting. I don't want her to knock over the camera. So if you want to ask questions, do that in the comments. I'll be watching for the questions. Oh, there she is. You can see her in the background. That's my sunshine. She's a new puppy, just learning how to be in the world. There she is. And so if you have questions or you want some inspiration for love today, then you're welcome to join the club here. Join in and ask away. It's the weekend, and I want to give people inspiration and give them energy, give you energy to get out there, and that other people are doing it, knowing that you're not alone and you don't have to be in it alone. And also, not to look at it like something heavy. If you're just getting back, I'm just going to have a sip of water. If you're just getting back out there and getting into dating, not to look at it as something heavy and, maybe someone's going to ask me on a date. Did someone ask me on a date? No one's asked me on a date. Come from a place of self-care. Take some time to look through and make sure you're not tied down to any ex-boyfriends, and that you're clear for having a space for some new people to come into your life and to get out more from the place of having fun and enjoying yourself and not so much focused on a result that someone has to find you the moment you go out the door. Let's see, is there another question? Oh, welcome, Cordelia Ryan, giving a little hearts. And Matthew gave a little hearts with smiley face. Thank you. Good to see you all here. And if there's more questions, happy to stay on for more questions and inspiration for Flirty Friday. And I like to call Saturday Sexy Saturday and Sunday Self-Care Sunday. So this is your weekend to pause and enjoy. Some people do work on the weekend, but for the most part, if it's your weekend, this is the time to shut off the mind, shut off whatever we're doing for earning and have some fill the well time, I call it. FTW to fill the well. If you know tech speak, what FTW is, we want to FTW to take some time for ourselves to fill the well. And dating is a very important part of life. It's important to have those people strokes and to fill the well with people strokes as well. So to see dating as part of self-care. So in today's world, and I'm watching for any comments you're welcome to comment about anything or give any ideas or suggestions. In today's world, it's kind of been inverted as far as the feminine and the masculine for dating. And a lot of responsibility has been put on the feminine now, not necessarily the feminine, the females, to hunt, to go after, to write that note, to chase that man, to get the guy. That's not what it's about. It can be a lot of fun for the female who's dating from the feminine. And there's the feminine flirting, which is more passive. It's more receiving the coffee, receiving the date. So it could be more fun. Feminine flirting is definitely more fun. And I hope that this encourages you to get out this weekend. If it does, I would love to hear in the comments. I'll keep an eye at on the comments during the week. If you are watching it on a replay or a replayer, I'll watch in the comments and tell me if you went out. Tell me if you had some fun. Tell me if you did something different. Or right now, are you thinking of doing something different? Are you having ideas come to you as far as what you want to start exploring, as far as getting out there? And yeah, so I'm open to hearing more from you. Oh, Cordelia, that's a nice question. It says, can we book private calls with you if I don't want to ask a question here? Absolutely. I have private sessions for one-on-one if you want to do private sessions. I also have groups, and I have, actually, if you could see, I'm pretty sure you could see on screen, it says CoachConstance.love for a complimentary discovery call. So go to CoachConstance.love, that's the website, CoachConstance.love, for a discovery call. And you can book for free, it's complimentary, and we can talk more that way, and we can talk about the different options. Because what I do is I personalize people's love journey for how I help them, and we look at the whole picture, and we work together to find a strategy and a plan that's personalized, because some people are coming out of relationships. Some people have not been out in the world, in the dating scene for years. Some people are coming out of long-term relationships. Some people are finally coming out of the casual scene. I get a lot of casualties from the casual scene, and now want to be in an emotionally available relationship that's healthy. So there's lots of different strategies for how to walk through and gain that healthy relationship that you're worthy of. Everyone's worthy of a really healthy, wonderful relationship. So with that in mind, we've got a few people watching. You're welcome to make some comments. If I'm going to wrap it up here, maybe in about a minute or two. I'm Coach Constance, and I'm going to be going live here every Friday for Flirty Friday. We also have Transformational Thursday, which is a morning call. Just write in the comments and I'll DM you the information on that. And I do encourage you to go to my website and get that complimentary 15-minute discovery call. And we could get to know each other a little more that way. And that's all I have for this evening. This is just a quick love shot to get you going into your weekend. And I encourage you, if you had no plans for tonight, maybe just go to your local supermarket and go into the vegetable aisle and buy some fruit and vegetables and give a look around. I had a client meet a wonderful man who became her husband in the Palisades in Los Angeles in the fruit department at Gelson's. I don't know if that Gelson's is still there, but you never know where you're going to be found. You just never know. And that's all I have for tonight. And thank you all for joining me. And I will see you next week, if not sooner. And I'll be posting more all throughout the week. And I will keep an eye out. You're welcome to DM me as well. Okay? Until then, I'm sending you love, love, love.